the bash bar, I didn't have one. They had a pallet board that was off to the side somewhere over by the big storage containers.
It wasn't even a 2x4.
No, it was a 1x3. Y'all give me the lorry saying it was a 2x4, not a 2x4. No way.
I didn't put it on just to add to the ratchetry.
Had a bash bar, needed a bash bar, got a bash bar.
Welcome back to the #1 Drift Podcast on YouTube. I am Dawson.
I'm Nate.
I'm Jesse.
Let's get into it. A few announcements, of course. Don't forget we are going to Hyperfest May 19th through the 21st. Again, doing a first ever Q&A panel with some of the drivers and some influencers and stuff there. So be there if you're near or can go. But the new merch, as you can see up here, since last week's episode, we did the troll episode for Kenda. We figured we might as well troll him a little bit more. We can actually put a picture. I'll put a picture of the actual sticker on the screen so you can see it a little bit better. You can pause it and shit too and read it. It's pretty fucking funny. He made them all up. Well, he did like all the tire like basically everything in yellow.
Yeah, it's all just for fun. We're gonna make shirts and merch, but we're also gonna make slap stickers that you can stick on your bumper and stuff and make it look like a tire sticker. Yeah. But if you get up next to it and start reading it, you're like, what the fuck does that say? You know, it'd be hilarious.
You know how like people would take the sticker off the tire and like put them on the back of their truck window and shit?
Yeah.
It would be like that.
Yeah. I'm going to stick them on the walls in the shop.
Yeah.
Funnier. There you go, yeah. Well, we got flags. This is a flag. That's a blanket. We got posters. And of course the hoodies and t-shirts and stuff. And I'm working on getting some more, but I'm not going to tell y'all about that. But 10K sub giveaway is coming up. We just got one of the parts for that in. That is actually you pull it up. Show Abel Fab Parts, like on the iPad up here. He's made the exhaust tips for us in the past, like mine. That's the broken heart tip. He made you guys a custom 1-of-1 Circle of Drift exhaust tip. What did he say this was? 3-inch outlet, and then the inlet is like 2.5, but you could cut it to be 3-inch, I think is what he said.
Make it fit. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and if any of you guys, of course, want any exhaust tips, he's got some crazy ass shit. This
Very
one's got
cool,
a
though.
spider web and an actual. He welded a spider, made a spider out of fucking metal.
Dude, that thing is fucking sick.
I've been drooling over his shit for years. It's insane. But Abel Fab Parts, that'll be linked in the description. Hit the subscribe button and turn on bell notifications so you don't miss any more. And of course, Patreon is now live. So if you want to see vlog stuff, ad-free podcasts, and we'll be doing some stuff like sim content and stuff like that in the future. But finally, this is Jesse. I'll let him introduce himself.
Jesse, I drift a 2004 shitbox 350Z. It actually blew up last event.
Yeah, Rico, kaboom.
That was literally.
You said it was going
weekend?
to, though.
Yeah.
Damn, that fucking sucks.
I went out and I ripped it pretty much all day. And then the run right before the last one, I heard some weird noises I've never heard from my car. And I was like, all right. So I killed it.
Was it coming up the hill?
Drank, fucked around for. No, actually, I didn't even hear it until I got into the pits.
Oh, wow. What the fuck?
Like,
I actually hear that a lot with VQs, especially HRs, where literally just cruising really low speeds.
Yeah, like I would rev it up and you couldn't hear it in like the 4,000 RPMs. But then when it got down to like, 1,500, 2,000, something like that, you hear like a slight chatter. And I was like, okay. So I cut it off and I waited and I went and fucked around for a little bit. And some dude came over and was like, that sounds like a throwout bearing. And I was like,
why do you gotta say that?
I was like, if it's a throwout bearing, that's cool. That's fine. I can deal with that. Fix that. I'll just burn it till the clutch fries up. Whatever. Fuck it. But I checked the oil and it was bone dry.
Oh, it spit all the oil?
Like bone fuck. I drove it 2 hours to the event. Like I didn't trailer it. I drove it to the event. And I was doing like 95, 100 trying to keep up with Allie because she's burning.
How'd you get it home?
I didn't. It's still at the track.
We're all homies at Clarksville. Stupid.
Like, dude, I fucking... When I checked the oil and I saw it was empty, I was like, okay, I can fix that. I got 530 in the car right now.
Yeah.
I fucking threw some 530 in it, started it up, sounded great, revved it up, sounded fine. I was like, all right, we're good. Went out for the last lap because they had already called what is it, last call?
Yeah,
so I went up for last call, and I was like, all right, I'll get one more run out of it, and then we're done for the day. Fuck it. Got up there, was in line, riding behind a guy. Line scooted forward, went to go scoot forward, and it just went, ew, and just nothing. Shut off. Tried to start it, went click, click, click. I was like, okay, maybe the battery's dead because I've been dealing with a dead battery because I left it parked for so long. So I pulled out the jump box, hooked it up to it, hopped back in the car, click, click. I said, yep.
Locked up.
It's done.
That sucks, man.
And like at 132,000 miles is when I locked it up the first time. It's at 202 now. Swapped it out with a 40,000 mile motor. Lasted pretty good. I mean, I put like 80,000 miles on it.
And that was the first drift car you had, right? That's like
it was
the first
pretty much the first car I ever had.
Oh.
Like I had a Honda Prelude for about 6 months, but the dude before me beat the shit out of the automatic slap shift.
Yeah.
So like transmission blew out, got rid of that car, ended up getting the Z, had it for 12 years.
Oh shit.
So yeah.
Damn. Hell yeah.
With better weather coming around, SeatGeek is going to be offering you guys the best summer possible. There's going to be a lot of concerts, live events, sports shows coming in the near future, and I know a lot of you guys don't want to miss out on your tickets. And SeatGeek is nice enough to give you guys a discount on your very first ticket purchase using our code here on the screen. So don't be one of those last minute guys that waits till the week of or a few days before to get your tickets. Take advantage of the discount you have now and grab your tickets so you can secure them for the coming future. So thank you to SeatGeek. We really appreciate you. Now let's get back to the podcast.
Yes, your first event. Didn't you bring like, weren't they like Buick wire wheels or some shit as your spares?
Yes.
I didn't even really know you at the time, but at least I think I had met you a couple times before, but
I can't tell you what they were off of because I have no clue. I found them at the scrapyard. Like I found those at the junkyard and I was like, that looks like a 5x114. And I snagged
wasn't like the hub bore too small or something?
a little bit, yeah. And I took a drill bit and I wallered them out and then shoved them on. And fucking
I'm a half price hot boy.
He said, yeah. Oh, that's awesome. We did that on.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So Caleb's Scion, the fucking lifted Scion, his wheels are too big. So he had to order rings and we had to go through like a couple different like sets before we finally landed on a set that was like the right hub centric style.
I fucking love that thing.
Oh, dude, Scion is the best car. You'll never change my mind. It's not the best car in the fleet.
I genuinely don't know how that thing has kept up.
It has like 390,000 miles on it.
And you got it for like what, $500?
Dude, it was $500 and there was a tree on it.
I'm fast as fuck, boy.
Dude, it needed a clutch. We brought it back to the house, changed the clutch. And then I was like, we got it running. And I was like, all right, that's it. We're good. Yep. And he goes,
nah, you gotta lift it.
I'm gonna lift it. And I was like, what? He was like, I'm gonna lift it and I'm gonna daily it. And like, dude, that sounds ridiculous, when you
but it worked.
Dude, it not only worked, he drove it. He's put like fucking 100,000 miles on it. I think it had like 290 on it when he got it. It has 100,000 more miles. It's fucking crazy, dude.
It's not just normal driving either.
No, dude. We'll get drunk and jumping and shit. It's the best. It's the best car, dude. Scion is the best car. You'll never change my mind.
I'll agree.
Toaster mobiles.
Yeah, the toaster's a shit. Every time we're going to go get parts, it's like, you want to take the toaster? And I'm like, yep. Yeah, I do. I want to ride the toaster,
I saw him driving in that today, actually.
Huh?
Said I saw him driving in that today.
Dude, I think the internet thinks I'm kidding. He has a fucking like 63-mile round trip commute.
Dude, daily.
Every day he drives it. Every morning I hear it fire up. Every morning it has the same belt squeak. And every morning it still leaves the driveway. It's crazy, dude. It's the best car.
And it still comes back somehow.
All right. So how stock was your Z car at the first event?
Stock. Like
plain.
Like stock. I ripped the e-brake button off and shout out Brendan Daniels. He told me I could take a key, press the button down, stick a key underneath it, and it'll lock the fucking e-brake.
It'll stay up.
And you don't have to worry about it. You can just rip it and let go, and it's fine. And I've used that technique ever since.
Yeah.
I'm going a different route on the new car. I'm actually doing things right.
For my first one, we just pushed it down, and then I drilled a hole in it, and then I took a cotter pin and stuck it in there.
Wow.
I kept getting my finger cut on it.
I didn't have a drill.
Well, yeah, no, I know.
But
I didn't even have the opportunity.
like-
I just went straight hydro immediately.
stock, and onto that, like 202,000 miles. It had like 185, something like that, 190 at my first event. Stock suspension from 2004. So like bushings worn the fuck out.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody was like, your car seems to have more angle than any other Z here. And I was like, yeah, because everything's fucking broken.
Active caster, baby. Those lower control arms on the front, those bushings will wear out like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's
super
the worst
easy.
fucking thing in the world.
I didn't-
60 miles an hour.
Dude, I drove NSS like that.
Oh, I
You
hate
could
that.
take
And
my
I
steering
never
wheel.
realized it wasn't enough to like really feel it when you're just driving straight, but you could see it in like videos and stuff. It would like wobble back and
this.
forth and shit whenever you're at angle.
You could take my steering wheel and you can like quarter half an inch play on each side.
Oh, seriously?
Without even turning the wheels. Like it wouldn't even turn the wheels. Like you could just like sit there and just kind of like play with it. And like it would just fuck around. And like a master tech at Murfreesboro Nissan was like, dude, go cut some tube steel. He was like, measure it out to where it'll be even on both sides. And then throw that in as your bushing. It'll be fine.
Really?
That's it.
Is that what you did?
No.
Oh,
Absolutely not.
I left it broken because it gave me more angle.
that's hilarious. Okay, so what made you want to get into drifting?
I've street drifted. Like I've hit exit ramps at like 90 plus and stuff like that. And I've thrown the car around, but I never really got out to like doing the track thing. First off, I didn't even know that was a thing in Tennessee, period. Like I didn't know that there were like actual track events where you could go out and drift.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to street rivet and have fun. And then what was it? What brought me out there? Cody Stockton.
Oh, yeah.
I like him. He's
Austin McDaniels
pretty awesome.
He just
had been
messaged
out
me.
there drifting, and like everybody would go to events with Austin McDaniels. It was cool, but I was like, I don't see myself taking my car out there. And then Cody went out there, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. So I took it out there, and my dad was like, if you fuck that car up, he's like, that's on you. And I was like, it's seen worse days. Like I wrecked it into the back of a fucking Camaro doing 68 miles an hour to 0. Like
Jesus.
I had the car in the shop. The car was getting fixed. Mechanic was like, I think I fixed the problem, but I'm not sure. Can you come test drive it? See if everything went away? I was like, sure. Hopped in it, drove it around for a few days. Seemed fine. Took a little bit of fucking seafoam.
Yeah.
Put it in real quick. Car seemed to run fine. Left a Mexican restaurant, driving down the interstate. Camaro pulled up next to me. And I was like, it's going to break. It's going to break. My buddy was riding with me, and he was like, go for it. Dude gave the 3 honk, took off. Smoked him. Didn't think that would happen. 135 miles an hour, burning ass. And then I slowed down, got in the fast lane. He passed by me, got in front of me, slowed down slower than me. So I had to hit my brakes. And I was like, I don't fucking like that. So I went to go switch lanes. And I was waiting on a car to fly by me. And I'm looking in my side view mirror. And I was waiting on it to pass me. And right when they were about to pass me, I started merging. My homeboy screamed. And I looked up and was like, fuck.
Boom.
Slammed on the brakes. And all I heard was, just fucking dead stop. Ate the whole front end up. Bent the frame horn down and like out. And it was a wrap. And I was like, all right. Well, my dad works for a company called CCC. So like they do estimating software for body shops.
Okay, yeah.
So I went to him and I was like, can you run an estimate for what this is going to cost to fix from a shop? Dude, we weren't even like at the full cost yet. And it was like $9,500. And I was like, I don't fucking have that. I was like, I can buy a radiator. Fuck the condenser. I don't need AC. I can buy some hoses, and then I fixed, I think, like a valve solenoid or something like that, the one that's on the front.
Yeah.
I fixed one of those because it got smashed in. Replaced all that. Car ran.
Those things are actually kind of expensive.
With the frame all bent up?
Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
I ran the same bash bar that I had when I wrecked because it was bent perfectly for the frame being fucked up. So I drove around for a while with a crooked ass fucking bash bar like this. Left it like that. And then Andy.
You didn't try and pull it out at all with a truck or anything?
I did later.
Oh.
I didn't know that was a thing. And also I was like, all I see is it going wrong. I'm going to strap a chain to it. I'm going to go to pull it. It's going to fucking break the chain off the frame. And then it's going to shoot it at the back glass. And it's going to break the back glass. And I'm going to have to pay for that too. So I didn't do that for a
Domino
while.
effect, baby.
But then Andy hit me. Like we ran a train. I came into the entry, crossed over Clarksville's mid-track. So, you know, like when you go over that like middle of the figure eight, there's that slight lift. So like I hit that lift, ass in, lifted off the ground, shot out a little bit. So when I came back down, I didn't have enough angle to get back away from it. And it just spun out. And when it did, that's the meme you made.
Oh, yeah, the one with the explosion.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
And like I spun around and I saw him coming and I said, oh shit, put it in reverse. And I tried to back up, but it wasn't enough time. And it was just, doof, and we clacked. And that's what finally busted that broken ass bash bar.
That was the funniest thing ever, dude. I didn't really know you that well at the time. I just knew you were like a good sport. So I was like, I thought I could get away with it, you know? So I posted it and then everybody thought it was funny. And then after that, it was like, all right, now Nate's the meme guy of the Clarksville page, you know? It was funny.
You got your
Sometimes
title.
it works out like that. But yeah, I busted the power steering cooler in the front of the Z, which I had zip tied up anyway. So
was that the 2x4 wreck?
Yes. So
Tell that story.
Yeah, I want to hear the 2x4 story.
okay, so like after everything's said and done, hopped out, went to go look, radiator's busted because the bash bar snapped in half and caved in on the radiator.
Yeah.
So fuck the radiator, fucked up the power steering pump or the power steering cooler. All that's fucked up. Stefan comes up to me and I'm like, dude, I'm trying to fucking drive. And he was like, well, I got a spare radiator and fans. He was like, I can go get it for you. He was like, it's off the G35 that he had that he was giving Sierra.
Yeah.
So he ran back to the house real quick, grabbed that, brought that, threw that on, took some copper twist wire and 4 corners, just suspended it in the middle of the air, basically. And that's awesome. We made it work, but I didn't have power steering. I lost all my power steering fluid. So like I cut some of the hoses and I looped them back to make it work-ish. But I didn't have power steering fluid to replace it.
Unless you have a dead rack, it doesn't work.
And then Andy was like, you can go out and rip it. He was like, I know you spent like hours trying to get this thing back up and going. He was like, you can go out and rip it until you're done. And I was like, all right. So I went out and I like hot lapped the track. Dude, no power steering. I'm mid drift and my fucking forearms are cramping up. And I'm like, I'm mid drift and like my fingers locked up. And I literally took my hands off the wheel, spread my fingers back out, grabbed the wheel again and went back into it. And like,
that's awesome.
Dude, I fucking ripped the shit out of it. And then I got back home, put power steering fluid in it and it ran good. But the bash bar, I didn't have one.
Yeah.
They had a pallet board that was off to the side somewhere over by the big storage containers.
It wasn't even a 2x4.
No, it was a 1x3. Y'all give me fucking glory saying it was a 2x4. Not a 2x4. No way.
I even put it on just to add to the ratchetry.
Had a bash bar, needed a bash bar, got a bash bar. Drilled 2 holes in it, took the fucking copper twist wire and fucking threaded it in and fucking twisted it up.
So basically zip tied, not even bolted. It's just it was just for looks.
Yeah. Yeah, it did nothing.
Dude, the fact that they didn't fucking like use that as content for the next 3 weeks that's just a fucking huge oversight on the track.
No, the bigger thing is that I passed tech with that.
Oh, dude, I got in trouble.
That presents to you Clarksville, baby.
My first time at Clutch Kickers when it was the shakedown for Tatas.
Yeah,
I passed tech there and I had, I swear to God, at least 25 zip ties holding my battery down because they needed a battery tie down and I didn't have the OEM like actual tie down.
You so I just use a ratchet strap like most people.
Well, like, okay, so in the Z's, there's not a lot of room with your battery in there for a ratchet strap. So like, nah, fuck that. Zip ties. I got a pack of zip ties right here and I'm going to make it work. And I did. And like the tech dude comes over and like as he's looking over my car, Nate Hamilton walked up and he's taking a video of my car and he came up and said, "What's up?" Because I told him I was going to be out there and he was like, "How's it going?" And I was like, "I'm just hoping I pass tech." And like the guy walked over and he grabbed my battery and he looked at it and he was like, he grabbed it and he shook it and he was like, "It didn't move." What they don't know is, so they had a lug nut rule, right? You have to have all of your lug nuts. I knew that rule going there, but I only figured it out halfway to Florida. So when we got to the Airbnb,
That you were missing one?
no, I knew I was missing one.
Oh, but you didn't know about the rule.
I didn't know
if you were
about the
down there.
rule.
Yeah.
So like when we got down there, we got to the Airbnb.
Oh yeah, that was the
Stefan
same
and
clutch
Sierra.
kickers event I was
Yep.
at. Yeah. I remember that now.
I took super glue a lug nut, stuck it on the rim.
We can even get past clutch kickers, baby.
I passed tech.
Did it stay in?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Even for drifting?
I had to knock it out of the fucking wheel when I got done.
Oh, I'm sure all that heat just made the glue even stronger.
When I finally replaced that lug stud and a couple others,
Dude, clutch kickers watching this going, what the fuck, dude?
dude, by the time I was done,
I'm gonna
with the
make
clutch
that a
kickers
reel
event-
just for you, clutch kickers.
Oh my God.
When
that's
I got
hilarious.
done with that event, I only had 2 lug nuts left.
They were all stripped from taking them on
They
and off?
broke.
Why?
So I ended up popping a wheel, and when I did, I dropped off the track.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
And when I did that, it
Oh, that was
literally,
right at the entry too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. There was I'm talking 1.5 feet, almost 2 foot drop off.
That one.
On the edge of what was it? Was just asphalt. Wasn't they didn't even
Yeah.
have the concrete edge to it yet?
No.
It was sharp.
Yeah.
it was heavy, and like I dropped off it. Granted, I only had 4, right?
Right.
Because I had the one little.
But I would say, like,
super glue.
I would just make sure that the internet knows that you knew you had 4. You didn't think you had 2 because 4 is like, I could probably get by for the day. 2 is like fucking negligent, you know. So I just want everyone to know that way they don't come in the comments
No,
where
no,
you're
no,
like,
no.
you're fucking endangering my grandmother.
Camera shut off.
I don't know about you guys, but our first local event just happened recently, and me, like a lot of you, might be a little bit behind on getting your car ready. For me, all I need is an ECU and a tune, but a lot of you guys might be needing some simple parts like suspension, exhaust, anything along those lines, and Enjuku Racing is the way to go. Whether you drive a Nissan, a BMW, a Mazda, whatever you drive, they have the parts that you will need to get your car up and running for this coming season, which is already here. So don't sleep, get your parts while you can using our link in the description if you want to support the podcast. And now that you got your parts, let's get back to the podcast.
Okay, so how many wrecks have you been in at a track?
at a track.
Yeah, not like out in the wild, fucking bonking in the back of a Camaro. Like
At a track, 1.
just the one that I made the meme of.
Just the one.
That's hilarious.
Damn.
I'm pretty good behind
Now I
the
feel
wheel.
bad.
I'm pretty good behind the wheel. Like I haven't had like too many issues. Like I've gotten close to people in chase because like I don't have a lot of experience in chase.
Yeah.
And most people don't want my car behind them in chase. But you know, other than that, no. I hop skipped the track real quick and I got fucked.
Yeah,
That's about
That's
it.
fair. All right. So what makes a track day like a good track day to you? Like a real answer. Nothing cheesy.
So lines not being super long. That's one. Because if the line's super long and you gotta wait, then you don't
Definitely
really
not the
get,
approach I expected.
then you don't really get as many, runs in as you want to. Like Clarksville
that.
this past weekend was like, dude, the fucking lines were stacked.
the vibe was awesome, but yeah,
The vibe
line-
was great.
The line
it was
sucked.
wonderful, but like I ran my car maybe like 8 times.
See, I think I did a total of like maybe 15 laps total. But Andy told me that for whatever reason, that particular track day did 2-day Clarksville numbers.
Oh wow.
I could see it.
That's how big
yeah.
it was.
I could see it.
So
He
it's
said there
more or
was-
less like getting seat time is what.
I mean,
Makes it a
yeah,
good day
that's
for you.
one part of it, but then the other part is just, the car doing what it needs to do and not messing up. Like if you've got Clarksville is always Clarksville.
Well,
so
yeah,
the
of
track's
course,
always
yeah.
going to be the same. I mean, there's nothing that the
Sadly.
track could do differently than a normal Clarksville day.
Oh, dude, we could add a hoop down there at the bottom with some elevation changes. I'd be so down.
Okay, so you could do that. But as far as like making a good track day, I just want the car to work right. That's it. Like Saturday gave me my worst issues I've ever dealt with. Like I swapped my brake shoes out because I was like, oh, I'm going to do something nice because my e-brake wasn't working. Like I went to go try to pull it and it didn't even like slow the car down at all. And I was like, yeah, they're shot. I knew.
Are you on a hydro or are you just on the slappy deal?
Stock.
You might need to tighten the cable at all.
So I tightened the cable as much as I could with the new brake shoes, and it still wasn't stopping the car while it was
You need
rolling.
a new cable.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
That's literally the only thing that'll tighten that up.
Yeah, because I mean, you can like do the adjustments behind the rotor. You know what I mean? Like on the actual brake shoes themselves.
It's
and
just
you can
not
like separate
enough.
it out. But like,
Those things stretch like fucking crazy.
I had it closed all the way, and I couldn't get my rotor on. I was sitting on the ground kicking my rotors to get them to bite over the fucking brake shoes because the pads were so thick. They've never been that thick. The pads on the e-brakes have never been what they were when I put the new ones on, ever. I don't even think when I bought the car that the e-brake pads were that good.
Probably not.
So, yeah, I mean, I probably just need a new cable at this point because it's got brand new brake shoes on it, pulled the e-brake up, and I could literally just grab the car and pull it back.
What about you? What's your perfect track day? Honestly, I think I'm not saying that because you're right. Obviously, like a fuckload of laps, and like we all want the car to work, right? I think I don't know. Maybe this isn't what he meant, but for me, I think like honestly, the Clarksville that we just went to, that was like the perfect track day for me.
Oh, I agree. I mean, it was good vibes.
Yeah, everybody was having a good time. Nobody was trying to start a fist fight or throw anybody in the pond.
Yeah, I think that's what it's more about for me. I like the community getting like actually having a good time with the people that are there, not necessarily just getting the seat time because that's always going to come. That's why I like mid pond so much because it's the same vibe as Clarksville. A little bit more like safety, which is good because that back left fucking 90 is sketch. But it's all the same and it's all small. The parking lot's small, so you can't have your truck at your pits. Like it feels more like Japanese style pits when you walk through it and stuff. It's way better. You just get the vibes right. Driving, car works, it works. If it doesn't, like
you
get to have fun trying to fix it with the homies at the track. It all turns into memories, and it's all. That's what.
Yeah, I wish we'd have got more seat time at the Clarksville event, but dude, the vibes was like
the vibes were great.
Oh, I'm sure with that many fucking people,
dude, you should have come. It was fucking sick.
Like you should have saw me. I mean, you saw me walking around with a bottle and a boombox.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I was stuck here editing.
Like it's
sadly
Clarksville's always a good time though. I mean, the vibes never change.
Yeah, it's
always just like everybody going around. If something breaks, you've got a million guys that run up to you. Like when my wiring harness shut down.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I had like 11 people I didn't even know. I maybe knew like 2 or 3 of them. But everybody else that was there trying to pitch a hand in and help was like, people I've never met in my life. And they were just offering their time to get me back on the track. And it's like, that's one of those wholesome moments.
All right. Taylor Ray's seat time car makes me never want to buy a BMW. It looks like
he has gone through headache after
dude,
headache.
It sounds like a pain
but it's coming along.
Yeah, I mean, dude, what's fucking?
But
dude,
he's a genius too. So
he's an unstoppable force, man.
BMWs.
Do you like Taylor? Do you watch Taylor Ray?
Yes.
Who's your favorite YouTuber? Actually, I want to ask that.
That should be a staple question on the podcast.
I mean, to be honest, Taylor Ray's probably one of them.
Yeah,
really? Cletus is cool too. Like I like watching his stuff because like it's always just some crazy off the wall type shit.
Yeah, like the RC planes and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, Taylor Ray's got some wholesome-ass content.
Oh, yeah.
And it's, like, it's as much informational as it is, like, just fun to watch.
Yeah, surprisingly.
So, like, he'll teach you how to do shit by breaking it down. Right. Like, super simple editing.
That's awesome.
But at the same time, it's like, there's always some crazy shit going on. Like, his Corvette, rowdy.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, rowdy.
It's awesome. Best Corvette.
So
I like how particular he is. That's his neatness is what I like.
See, I like that about him too because that means if I get like 60 or 70% the same way there, it'll be 50% as good as his car. And 50% as good as a Taylor Ray car is like 100% for me. I'm all in.
I don't think your logic adds up very well.
I'm not saying it all adds up
right
in the
though.
end. I'm just
He's right
saying
though.
like so on his turbo kit for his Corvette, the way he did it where it hangs the turbo.
Yep.
I'm kind of gonna do the same thing on my car, but it's gonna have a crossover band that comes back over to put the turbo out the hood scoop because
Yeah, it needs to be louder.
but
See.
that's really the only thing. Oh yeah, and then I want to make my car loud, which his Vet's not really that loud, but also it's because it's turbo LS and it's all the way back. You know, it's just not gonna be a really loud.
See,
car.
when I go turbo, you are the guy that I'm coming to.
Yeah, but I don't like that.
Are you
means
sure?
No, dude, like
I know-
he's the reason.
I
he's
know
the reason
enough.
I wanted to go full V8 swap, anyways.
I know enough
I
to
feel
get
like
by.
that's a little too common now. Damn it.
No,
Yeah,
like
I know, everybody
he
doesn't
knows
know.
this
Some JDM
because
boys.
like from day one, I've been that guy that's like hyped you the fuck up.
Oh yeah, big time.
Like,
My car would be like fucking the fuel pressure would be at like 40 and I was commanding 60 and then my oil pressure's at like
Throw it
11.
in, baby!
And he would run up to the window,
going.
give me a beer and be like, "You gonna send it?" And I'm like, oh, fuck, I guess so. I don't know. Jesus, you know. Here, hold this. What? And I'll take off.
Oh, my bear, watch it.
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
dude, like when we
That
went
could be
to,
the name of my autobiography. Have you seen the
Whatever
new
the fuck it
Cletus
is.
video?
No.
I'm about to ruin it for you.
Okay.
All right, he blows up his big block in the Elko. I haven't gone back and watched actually what happened to McFlurry,
Yeah.
but it broke too. But it broke like I don't know if the engine broke, but it broke like going down the road. It didn't break on the track.
Right.
Dude, the video of him when it breaks on the track, it like they think it cracked the block and it sprayed the track down. Dude, Cletus goes drifting, bro. He's in it and he's on a fucking like sub 650 pass, dude. Like he's on a fucking pass and he's like, what? And when it does, it like pops and the whole car goes like this.
Oof.
Dude, and he's
Fist
flying,
down.
bro. I think that car trap's like what, 190 something?
Yep.
I have no idea.
So he's like 3/4 the way down. He's probably going 160, 70 miles an hour or something like that. And dude, the car is, and he's like, and dude, I went back and I watched the video because I always remember the very first time that he launched the Elko on like a really super hot tune up. And dude, his eyes, he's like trying to take in as much information as possible. He's like, holy fucking shit. He's like flying. Dude, Iceman. He's a fucking Iceman, bro. The whole car is wobbling around at 170 miles an hour. He just goes like this. His eyes, they don't open, they don't do anything. He's just fucking the man,
Nope.
Then he gets done, he goes, oh no, I think we blew it up. And he goes, that's okay. I'm glad you're okay, Elko. And then he gets out of the car. I was like, dude, it's fucking ice in his veins.
Dude, I was doing 110 on some bald tires and I went under an underpass when it was raining and it wiped out from underneath me.
Yeah, me and Donnie almost did that one time.
In the Z
Yeah.
after the wreck.
We were in my convertible.
Like I was in the Z and I was hauling. I went under that underpass and it wiped out and I turned straight sideways. Like, I mean, I'm talking like fully sideways. And I was like, oh shit, I'm looking at the fucking barrier right now and I'm doing 90 plus. And like threw it all the way in and I let off the gas, didn't touch the brake. And I was like, please come back, please come back, please come back. And then it just whipped back and I was like, okay, we're cool. We got this. And just kept going.
Do you just not get do you not get your rocks off at the track?
Oh, I do. I do.
So what if you don't go to the track for 3 or 4 months? You're just a fucking savage animal.
I'm insane. I'll drift my fucking Dodge Ram anywhere I get a chance to. What are you talking about?
I actually am curious about that. Do you feel a difference in like your day-to-day driving if you go and have a really good track day?
If I have a really good
'Cause
track
I
day,
do.
I'm a conservative driver.
Me too. I drive like a regular person. If I'm like, I drive a
Yep.
2500. It's not fast or anything, but like I'll notice that I need to be speeding or I need to be like switching lanes,
Your
going
road
around
rage
people.
is a lot less.
Yeah, and dude, I'll go have a track day. Dude, I drove 85 miles an hour in my truck all the way there. You know what I did on the way home?
What?
55.
Yep.
Fucking cooling, bro.
Yep.
Cooling.
You get it all out.
Yep.
Yeah, I was just
Let
chilling.
us know what you do.
Yeah,
That's how I
I'm
am.
curious. I've always wondered that. I tell my dad that, and he's like, doesn't get it. He's like, you think it works like that? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm just telling you what I'm experiencing. Like,
But the sad part is, it really does work like that. Like
It's just getting your dopamine hit.
when I was at the track last Clarksville event, it's the first time I've been on the track in like what, a year and a half,
Almost,
2
yeah.
years, something like that. It's been a while since I've been out there, and the problem was, they say like out of sight, out of mind. Like if you don't see something, then you're not too worried about it. My issue is I looked at my suspension for the first time in like years.
Never look at the cam bearings.
And I looked at it and I was like, fuck. It's like, I'm not riding on anything that's worth a shit right now, and everything is fucking sketchy. And like, you know, everybody being like, oh, your car is sketchy as fuck. That shit's ghetto as shit. Ah. I'm like, nah. Because I never looked at it. And then I finally looked at it one day because I got underneath it and I was like, oh, fuck, maybe they're right. You know? like maybe they're right.
I should have checked that shit. I don't know.
I've done 160 miles an hour in that Z 20
why?
plus times.
Why would you do
20 plus
that?
times. Feels like you're floating on clouds. Literally like a euphoric ass moment. You're just like, man, and just watching it. And like, dude, I've climbed through the fucking gears, been in like 6th gear, and I'm like, 120? Nah, I could go 160. Then I get to 160 and I'm like, my RPMs are rising, but my speedometer's not going anywhere because it's clicked. I feel like I'm going faster. Now I'm gonna keep doing it. And then like you go downhill and you really feel the speed pick up and like you hit a little bump and it's like, and it's like, it's a great fucking feeling.
Put a pit in your stomach.
After I looked at my suspension, bro, I'll never in my fucking life go that fast until that shit's replaced. Hell no.
Good choice.
Fuck
I don't
no.
know, dude. It's somewhere around. I think the miracle number for me is like somewhere around 125, 130 miles an hour. I start wondering if I put that bolt back in.
Yep. You
know,
know, a little
of course.
clench in your asshole real quick.
He question anything.
He does it. He says 120. He's like, who gives a fuck? And then
Yep.
just keeps going. I don't know if it's because I'm older, right? I don't even have kids. I'm like, I just don't want to die. You know? I'm like, did I put that back in? Oh, that's hilarious. All right, so
Shit happens. You know?
So what's your take on that field?
Everybody looks at me and
yeah,
they're
what
like,
is your take on Matt Field? Fuck it, we're gonna do that this
okay.
section.
So Matt Field,
Hell of a driver.
hell of a driver.
Yeah.
Hell of a fucking driver. Like when I saw him drive at FD Atlanta, like dude
He's
can
the real
drive
deal,
his
man.
ass off.
He's the real McCoy.
I won't give him any hate whatsoever. But kind of a dick sometimes. Like love him to death, but like, you know, it's just like the vibe that comes off with like Matt Field and the people that surround him. You know, like if you were to blow up and you were to get famous, or you were to blow up and you were to get famous, I'm not the guy to be having in your fucking pits.
Why?
Because sometimes I'm nice, sometimes I'm a dick. You might catch me on a drunk rage one time and I might be like...
I feel like I'm not that way. Like, even if I was famous, I think I would just check my people. I would be like, Jesse, what are you doing?
Yeah,
don't talk to people like that.
See, but he doesn't have that control. He doesn't have that like step in and be like, "Hey, don't do that." He's like,
I don't know. Listen.
boys
So I'm
gonna be boys.
I'm just saying that's what his fans say, right? And like, and listen, it doesn't matter. Honestly, I always go into this before I ever talk because it never makes it into the cut because Dawson cuts this part out. We don't hate Matt Field, okay?
No,
he's just at the
nobody hates Matt
forefront.
Field.
He's just at the forefront of the drama that surrounds FD. He is, dude. He's the problem child of FD. I've even seen them call him that in some of the comments because he just is, you know? So we're going to talk about him a little bit.
They don't need to be.
Adam LZ. Now that's one.
Yeah, all right. You got an Adam LZ story?
I do.
Let's hear it.
So FD Atlanta, I think it was like 2020, 2021, something like that. I can't remember what year it was. But it was when he, you remember the video where he came in like 140 miles an hour, hauling fucking dick on Odie Bocce, and he hit Odie and like hopped up on Odie's car.
Yeah.
You remember that? In the fucking Sylvia? The S15?
Yes, I remember that.
Okay. So I was front row on that run. Like literally sitting by the first entry. I saw every bit of that. And I watched all of his car parts go flying. And like Odie even told me down in the pits, he was like, yeah, I looked up and I saw headers and was like, oh, fuck. It's rough. Like he looked up and saw his headers underneath. He's that on his shit. Like he had jumped up on him and like his tires were over top the roof of the car. And he looked up and saw the underside of Adam LZ's car. Now
that's a sight to see.
Who can be at blame? I don't know. But I know that, like, when I watched it coming in, I was like, he's way too hot. He's way too hot. He doesn't have any time to slow down. And then I saw the wreck and was like, well, bam, fuck. So I watch parts fly off and like, you know, the crew guys or whatever run around and they pick up all the parts and they give them back to the little guy in the little golf cart or whatever. And he drives it off to their pits to give them their car parts back. Well, there was one part that was missed and it was a like flare from the front bumper. And you know, that kit came from Japan and it was like one of one or whatever.
Yeah.
So it was like super special. Well, I ended up getting a flare from it because I looked at Larry Chin and I was like, yo, it's like, can you go get me that? I was like, they forgot a part on the track. I was like, can I have it? And he was like, yeah, give me a second. Let these runs come through. And then when there's a dead time, I'll run out there and I'll grab it for you. And I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So he ran out there and he fucking grabbed it and he brought it back and he was like, here. He was like, if you want to, he was like, I'd go get that signed right now. He's in the pits. And I was like, all right, well, it's the fucking last battle. Like final two.
Larry told you to go get it signed by LZ?
Yeah.
Oh, you can tell he's an OG gangster. He knows the fucking play.
Yeah.
That's
And I
smart.
was
I wouldn't
like-
have even thought of that.
I was like, all right. So I left on the final battle, and like Allie's up there watching the final battle go on or whatever, and I was like, I don't care. I'm gonna go get this signed real quick. So I run down to the pits, and it's like all the way across the track. I had actually tried to get a Grom. Like I had messaged a few people and tried to see if I could like buy a Grom so that I could have a Grom at the event. Didn't work out. So I ended up running my ass all the way down to the fucking pits to try to catch him.
How far was it? Like compared to Clarksville?
Dude,
2 Clarksvilles?
like 4.
Nuh-uh.
I swear to God. Like everybody there was driving like
Dude,
they rented
That's
out.
like 2 miles, right?
They rented out golf carts. If that tells you anything. Like they were renting golf carts out for like $250 a fucking golf cart. If you wanted to use it to get around because it was a giant ass track. So like I ran all the way down and like, I mean, the pit area alone is probably like an entire Clarksville. But to get to there was like all the way across the track. You know, so like you're talking, I probably moved 1.5 miles, 2 miles to get down there. And I got down there and I was like, hey, can you sign this for me? And he picked it up and he looked at it and he was like, looked back and then he like looked forward and he was like, I hate to really do this, but like, would you be mad if I gave you like some merch or something instead and I took this? And I was like, he was like, where'd you get this from? And I was like, it came off of your car when you wrecked into Odie. And he was like, he was like, could I just like give you some merch or something like that? And then his pit crew, like the people that built that car, came up and he like cut him off and interrupted him. And he was like, no, fuck that. He was like, I've zip tied this goddamn bumper 25 times. He was like, I'm not doing it anymore. He was like, buy another kit. He was like, I'm not putting that back on the car. He was like, give the man the fucking piece, sign that shit, and get it the fuck on. And
Oh my God.
it's like, dude, I'm so serious. Like,
Who was it from the pit crew?
like the crew, like the head chief, like the guy that like runs his shit, that built that car, that did all the tube work on it, that did all the body kit, and all of that shit. Apparently, it's the fucking guy that zip tied it like 25 fucking times to remanufacture this fucking front bumper.
So what? All right. So what happened? So he comes over. His crew chief is like, "Dude, fucking cut it out, man. Just what are you gonna give him?"
He
this
was like,
merch for?
"I'm not zip tying it again." He was like, "Just let it go." He was like, "Buy another kit." He was like, "I'm not doing it again. It's not happening."
But this
And I
is
was
what I
just
pay you
like-
for.
I was like, "All right," and he was like, "Okay, I'll sign it." And then he turned over and he like signed it real quick, like sloppy as fuck, and was like, "Here you go." And I was like, "All right, cool." Then I walked over and the dude from the crew was like, "Come here." And like I sat there and chopped it up with him for a minute. And he was like, he was like, "Yeah, we did this." He was like, "We do anything really." He was like, "If you need any work done on your cars," he was like, "just let me know." He was like, "I can do tube work." And like, they were really cool people. He was like, "Anytime you come back to FD," he was like, "come back to the pits." He was like, "I'll let you in." He was like, "You can come kick it, chop it up with us, sit around, talk, whatever, blah, blah, blah."
That's
just
cool.
bullshit. And I was like, hell yeah. So then I fucking left and started walking back. And then I saw Chelsea DeNova sitting on the trailer. And he's like sitting there and he was talking to, he had his girl with him. And then the Linked HQ people were there talking to him. And I was like, hell yeah. So I'm still like starstruck because like I look up to Chelsea DeNova.
Yeah.
Super humble dude. really good driver, and also like one of those people that doesn't really mind to like teach you things, as you know, school of drift, all that stuff. So like, you know, he's really.
I feel like he's one of the last people that like. He really likes drifting. Like, I like drifting for the vibe. I think Chelsea DeNofa likes drifting because he likes drifting.
No. Well, yes, he likes drifting for drifting, but he also likes drifting for the vibe. Like, I caught some shit. Like, dude, he was talking about, like, I don't even know if I want to be an FD anymore.
I don't blame him. Everybody I talk to is in competition. Like, they're fucking miserable.
No bullshit. He was like...
I don't see how it's worth it.
He was like, I haven't won money since the last time that I was in like an actual like almost like a grassroots type battle. Yeah. Like he said he's won more money outside of FD than he's ever won any money or gotten any money from FD itself.
Well, one of them was saying that you only win like $3,500 or $3,000 or something, like a really small purse for an FD event. And I was like, dude, I've talked to some of these people, like, you know, because we have the podcast. I've talked to some of these fucking people, and it costs more than that to go. Like, so you hope you go more. And you hope you break even?
Yep.
Pass.
Yeah.
Hard pass. No, thank you.
He said
zero interest. Break even. Half the people.
He said
he
won like 10.
They're making their money off of ads and like sponsorships and stuff, and that's like
you can do that without FD though.
Exactly. That's my point. I don't see how it's worth it.
Yeah, I don't get it.
He said he won like $10,000 or $15,000, and he was like, I still remember that day to this day. He was like, I remember. What the fuck was it that he said? He was like, I remember when I won that money. He was like, and that's like the most money I've ever won while drifting. He was like, why the fuck am I even doing this shit? He was like, I don't even know if I'll drift next year. But he did. He obviously did. He
RTR signing them checks, boy.
Doing it.
Yeah.
But then like Justin Pollock.
I'll be doing it too. I'm not even fucking. I'm just saying. Yeah.
Justin Pollock pulled up though, and like he rolled up behind me, and I'm talking like 1.5 feet, 2 feet. Like pulled up behind me, and he obviously knew I was a spectator. So like he got right behind me and just fucking smacked limiter, and it's just fucking, and I was just like, fuck, like ringing my ears out. And then he came over and he's talking like, dude, I'm sitting there like starstruck. I'm like, dude, these are like drifters I've looked up to for a long time, and I didn't really know what to say. You know what I mean? Like. And I also didn't want to like cut in on their conversation because like they're having a conversation. I didn't want to be that guy that's like, yeah, I know what you mean. Like, no.
Would you like me if I was an HDMI cable?
Like, right. that shit. Like, no. So I was like sitting there quiet for a minute, and then I like hopped in and I talked to him for a second. He was like, dude, don't be like super quiet because you feel like you have to be. He was like, you know, you can fucking talk to us. He was like, we're regular people. And I was like, yeah, fucking clearly. I can see that. Like, you're sitting here talking about, like, you remember back in the day when you were pulling up to the, what did he say? He was like, I remember pulling up to the fucking line to go drifting, and the car smoked out before the tires even burned. And I was just like, that's my fucking guy. He's like, you know, fucking crack a beer, crank that shit, and go out and go drifting.
Yeah.
And, like, to hear Chelsea DeNofa talk about that, like, it was really cool.
Yeah.
Because it was like humbling. Like, you know, I mean, they are people. Yeah. Like every drifter is a fucking regular ass person.
People forget they're only seeing the highlight reels.
Yeah.
That's what people.
I think that's what I was. That's kind of my point is I think that he really likes drifting so much that because we had such good growth, you know, that I think he thought we were like going to like, not that we were going to come in and take it from him, but we were going to come in and like mess something up. You know what I mean? And like give the wrong opinion to newcomers because he really cares about that kind of stuff, which is why I didn't get mad when we like talked it out in the DMs. I was just saying like, it was hard, dude. That was. I'm telling you, that was fucking hard, dude. To like go back and forth with somebody, and you're like, it's somebody that I've looked up to my whole life, and I'm like, we're having a disagreement. I'm like, dude, I don't want to meet you like this. This sucks. Right. You know, like, you know, we're supposed to be buddies. I'm supposed to give you a beer that you don't like. You're like, this is peasant beer. You're like, that was how I thought our first interaction would go. Not you don't like our shit. What the fuck, you know? So,
but that's like, you know, Jeff Knox went and did the School of Drift and shit.
Oh yeah, said he was cool as fuck. Everybody that's talked to us about him says he's cool as fuck. It's just been our interactions with him.
Who else was it? Money Gang, Colin Harbor.
Yeah, Colin Harbor, Jeff Beard, Brennan Daniels. They all went
with Chelsea DeNofa.
Oh, he took one of Chelsea DeNofa's classes,
right? Like flew him out or something like that to like Bowling Green or something. Yeah. And they did classes with him. Like, you know, it's like he's one of those people that like he didn't lose himself with drifting. And like becoming as popular as he is with drifting, like, you know, the whole T-Pain thing, like that's cool as fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
that whole.
Who do you think RTR is going to hire for the next driver or sign for the next driver?
They already signed T-Pain, didn't they?
Is it T-Pain?
Did they?
I don't think so.
I feel like they did. I feel like I heard something about them. Look it up real
Yeah, we
quick.
finna look.
Check it.
I've seen the T-Pain. You talking about the purple picture? He's got the purple gloves on. I know what you're talking about, but I don't think that's an announcement as a driver's sign, is it?
They made an announcement. RTR made an announcement.
Where?
I don't know if it's on Chelsea DeNofa or if it's on RTR themselves or if it's on Nappy Boy Drifting. While he's looking. How do I want to say this? What's one of the best events you've been to? Track-wise and quality-wise.
The last Mid-Pond event.
Okay. So you like Mid-Pond?
Oh, I love Mid-Pond. It was the first event that they actually extended some areas of the track. So, like spots that you would dirt drop on, it was just kind of inevitable because it's a go-kart track.
Yep.
But yeah, the vibes there are just great. There's no big parking lots, like I said earlier. So it's all like you're all crammed into the pits.
Yep.
And you're all like, but it makes like if something goes wrong with your car, like everyone's going to see it.
Yep.
So everyone's going to be like approaching you. How can I help? How can I help?
Right.
Instead of NSS, the pits are fucking enormous. So somebody could have completely totaled their car on the other end of the pits and you would never even know. So that's why I like Mid-Pond. It's just, and it's on top of that, it's like the most beautiful track ever.
See, I got some boys out there, and like when I get done with the LSZ, they've already told me if I hit them up, like Levi, Jericho, all of them, they're really cool with the owner. So they told me, they're like, if you need a private track day, let me know. I'll talk to the owner. You pay X amount of dollars. Event's all yours.
Yeah, they do private days all the time.
Like they'll open up the track just for you.
We're talking about maybe doing like a private day for Clarksville, but it's for the Circle of Drift.
We'll see, motherfucker, if you'd help me get my goddamn car running.
What? You don't got all the shit?
I do.
Fucking
You got everything to put it together?
Everything.
Liar.
The only thing I don't have is the Steamport crossover kit and the Evil Energy fuel pump lines, etc.
regulator
that you sent to me. Yes, regulator, filter, lines to the rails. That's it. So like realistically though, I have everything that I need to get the motor in at least. Like I did the rack relocation. I've got the FDF Mega Mantis kit. I've got the 350Z cross member brace. So like all I need to do is just take the old cross member brace out, put the new one in.
You have to cut it out?
Then,
You have to cut it out or you just bolt it out?
okay, so it's bolts, but one of the bolts is free spinning. And like I've got some good like snap-on sockets and they won't even grip it. Like it's fucking rounded off.
Wow.
So I'm going to weld a nut to it, super stick it, and then just bump it out with that way.
That's probably the move.
So that'll be, it's only one bolt though. Every other one comes loose. So once I get that one out and put the new cross member brace in, I'm going to have to put the new subframe, obviously, because rack relocation and all that shit. So when I put that in, it's done. Then the motor and the transmission, everything can go in. I've got the mounts for all of that. FDF, shout out to y'all because y'all are fucking amazing. Like they've been great customer support. They've been great with any questions. They've been great with any, like they told me, I was like, I don't really know if this is going to fit. Like, I don't know if I can bridge this weld. Like I kind of cut too much. And they were like, nah, send us a picture. Well, I sent them a picture and they were like, it could probably be bridged. Well, I ended up finding a welder that was like certified up to 3 inches, like 3-inch welding. And I was like, weld this shit.
Yeah,
and he was like, I got you. So he fucking welded it up. And it looks great.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, it's ready to go in. Like realistically, all I do is I just need the time.
Last question.
All right.
Same one we ask everybody. What is the one piece of advice you give to anybody that's just trying to get into drifting?
Don't pay too much attention on what you need to be drifting.
I like. Do you mean as far as like parts and stuff?
Correct.
Okay.
So like,
I totally fucking agree.
I
with that.
sent it in. I mean, like worn out everything, suspension, all of that, everything stock. It can happen. Like you can do it regardless. You don't need, some special setup to get into drifting.
Yeah.
I mean, you might have to change your style of drifting, but you don't need, this big expensive parts list to get into sliding.
Drive with the car, max out your ability, and add to it.
Yep. You could start with 140 fucking horsepower. You could start with like a Miata. That's like what, 90? You know what I mean? Like it doesn't take endless amounts of money to make a little bit of something happen. Like you can drift with a stock 350Z. You could stick with like a 4-door G35 and really make it happen.
Just go.
That's the move.
It's all about the momentum that's in your brain and the allowance of like, okay, I'm gonna do this with what I have, and then the further I get, I might make some changes. But you don't need a big angle kit to go drifting. You don't need a hydro handbrake to go drifting. Is it nice to have it? Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It probably is. I've never experienced it in my life. I've yet to experience a hydro handbrake.
You need to drive the boat.
Yeah.
You let me drive the boat, your boat ain't coming back with an engine in it.
I don't know about that. I'm pretty rough on engines.
You kill your motors.
A lot.
I kill my motors, and they're meant to last. Ish.
Well, I mean, an LS is like a 500,000 mile engine,
You ain't got 500,000 miles on that LS.
No,
maybe like 3.
Yeah, it's 359,000 miles.
See, that ain't 500,000.
Well, I'm just saying.
It gets the job done, damn it.
Like if you would give me your drift car, and you'd be like, "Hey, go send this." It's probably not coming back in the same condition.
You know how? Well, no, it's going to have less oil pressure. That's anytime you drive one of my cars. You know how much Jocelyn doesn't like them? Is I was like, dude, if you come to Clarksville, I'll let you drive the boat. He was like, nah, I got too much work to be done. And I was like, oh, fuck that.
If you would ever tell me that,
It's so true.
It is so true, though. He really did have a bunch of shit
dude,
to
I
get done,
swear,
but-
if you ever told me like you come out to Clarksville, I'll let you drive the boat. Bro, my fucking kid could be being born. And I'd be like, well, I got a chance to drive the boat, so that only happens like once in a lifetime, you know what I mean? Like I'd jump on it. And
I told Cho I'd probably let him drive it at Hyperfest.
Oh yeah.
I think he'll be excited because he's like I think I've only had like 400 maybe 300 horsepower, and I'm like, you don't know if it's 300 or 400. He's like, I don't know, and I'm like, oh my god, dude,
yeah,
like
750.
what are you gonna do?
He's gonna be like, fuck.
No, it'd be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but he'd get in it, and the first thing he'd do is like put his foot to the floor, expecting it to be like, and it'd just be. He'd be like, "Oh shit, shift."
It's pretty fast with the dude. That's what, I wish you would have come, dude. With the new weight over the rear, it's fucking.
Oh, I'm sure.
Did I tell you about crashed?
No.
I was trying to be a cowboy and hang my arm out the window going up the hill like I always do, and the new weight over the rear. Whenever I hit the fucking sink at the thing, it did fucking gripped up and went way sideways. I was like, "Whoa!" And then I had to like pull my arm back inside, and I was like, what's happening? And I almost went in the grass, and I was like, damn, that's what I get for showing out. You know?
I've never brought my second hand into the chat. Yeah, no. Like, you want to talk about almost crashing. Let's talk about when you crashed.
With Cash? Mm-hmm. That was my fault. It wasn't Cash's fault.
Give the background.
At the very end of the day at Clarksville, we were going to go and we were going to leave, and they said, all right, pack it up. And we were like, all right. So we start packing it up. Well, then some of the tech guys that tech us in started walking around like, you leaving? And I was like, I stopped loading up, and I was like, I don't know. Are you telling me not to leave? And he was like, yeah, don't leave. And I'm like, okay. So I just waited, right? So then Cash walks over and he was like, are you leaving? And I was like, not if you're not leaving. And he was like, I'm not leaving. And I was like, well, okay. So I started backing my shit off the trailer. All the fucking other people were leaving, and we started firing our cars back up. You could see their trailers, like, you could see them hit the brakes up on the, on the other end. They're like, what the fuck are they doing? What, did we just get kicked out? Like, it was funny. So last lap of the day, I had drank too much. And so, so Cash pulls up and I try and convince him to let me follow him. Because I led everybody all day. I didn't get to follow, but like, I think I followed Chris and that was it. But because I have somebody behind me that's trying to practice tandems, I was like intentionally giving the person in front of me space. Because like my car makes a fucking shitload of power. I could fucking run over top of pretty much everybody in Clarksville. I think, you know what I mean? Like, are there some people that could probably outdrive me? But if it really comes down to power versus power, I think I probably could just run up on anybody. Yeah. So I didn't really get to practice twos where I'm up on somebody all day. So I try and convince Cash, and he's like, no, he won't, dude. He won't give it to me, right? And I'm like, dude, I try to be mean. He doesn't do that. I'm trying to like appeal to his soft side. He doesn't do that. Finally, I just give up. I'm like, whatever, man. You know, fuck it. I'll just fucking lead then. And dude, he like pulls up beside me and he goes like this. He goes, don't spin. And he clicks his helmet shut. And I was trying to do that scene from Black Panther where he goes, I never freeze, right? Yeah. But I said, I never spin. Well, guess what? I fucking spun. Last lap of the day, I fucking spin and he fucking bonks me because I spun out. You can put it here. I think I sent you the video. I have the video here. And there we go. Yeah. Anyways.
Well, that's it for this one, folks. I really do appreciate it. But again, join the Patreon if you haven't already. Grab the merch. Oh, wait. You can't see it. Never mind. But that's it for this one. Thanks, guys. See you next week.
Peace. It's hilarious. All right. Well.